Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a member game using React hooks. Let's look at the finished app. So once you click on the card, the card will flip back if they are unmatched, and if they match, then they will be removed from the deck. And as you see, like when I'm clicking on the cards, the move count is also getting increased. And after I match all the cards, I get a confirmation dialog with my game information. And also the game has the functionality to restart. When I restart it, I see it is recording my best score which I played so far, and I have used local storage for that. And also if you want to reshuffle, then you can easily do it by clicking here. Alright guys, so I'm going to start from app.js. So let me write in just hello for now. And in the SRC, we are going to create three components. One is going to be a card component, header component, and finish. In the SRC, now I'm going to create an image folder in which I'm going to add the local images. Now in the SRC folder, I'm going to create a data.js so that I can add in all the images and import it and later on use it in the card mapping through it. As you can see guys, I've already imported the images and stored it in a unique cards array in which I've given it a type, and also I have exported the unique cards array. Now in the card I'm going to add some HTML elements. Like you can see, there is a div with a class named card face front, then card face back, and I've also added image tag in which we have to add the images, which I'm going to do it right away. Import one. image. And I'm going to add the backpick here. Backpick, and I'm going to take one of the pictures for the front pick. So I'm going to do the same. But later on, we are going to map through all the pictures so that the picture is auto-generated. But let's say one. Alright guys, before moving further, I'd like to ask you guys to install the dependencies, npm install react icons, install class names, and as I will be using React Bootstrap, I ask you guys to install that too. So now we are going to work on the header component and add some HTML in here. So as you can see, I have added the title memory game and a container containing the information of the game like moves, the best score, and also I'm using font awesome icon to add the FA redo, and we are going to import it like this over here. And also I would like to show you that I have added the CSS inside the card, and also added some CSS inside the header, and also I've already added CSS inside the finished component, which you can always watch it later. Alright, in the app.js now I'm going to create a function swap. So the function swap is going to be the same as Fisher-Yates' modern algorithm concept, in which we will loop from back to front of the array, and for that we need to generate a random number, and each time the loop decreases by 1 as it generates a random number and swap. So this is going to be the code that I'm writing here. I'm going to target the array and I, which is going to be the array dot length, and j, which is going to be the random number that we generate. And then so I'm going to const the temp value, which is going to hold the temporary value that we do when we are swapping it, and it is going to be array I, then array I going to swap the array j, the random number that we will generate, and then array j is going to have the temp value. Alright, and beneath that we will do the function shuffle cards. Cards is going to be array again, and then const so we are going to use a for loop here, and every time the random number is generated, the array decreases by 1. So let I is equal to length when I is greater than 0, as we don't want the swapping to be go beyond the index 0, and I is always gets minus by 1. Then const random index, we're going to use math random to generate the index. Swap array, current index, and random index. And random index. And then we want to return sorry return array. I have also shared the Fisher-Yates algorithm video link in the description below. I found it on YouTube, which might help you understand the function shuffle cards. So please have a look at it. Now the second part is to render board for the deck of cards. For that, I'm going to first um, import the data.js. So import unique cards array, from our data.js. Save it, and then we go down inside our app, and I'm going to create our state, const cards and set cards. It's going to be a use state. All right, and inside the use state, I'm going to write a function again, which is going to use our shuffle cards. So is shuffle. I see the font spelling is incorrect over here. Let me make it exactly the same. Shuffle cards, and we are going to call in the unique cards array inside here. So unique cards array and concat and call in the unique cards array again. All right. Inside the return statement, I'm going to put some HTML. So I'm going to start by importing the header component in here. Then I'm going to add in container then row, then inside here I'm going to map in the card function. I'm going to pass card and index in here. So I'm going to bring in the card component inside the return statement here. And inside the card, we are going to pass index in the key. We are going to pass card as card. Then index as index. Then right above the card, I'm going to have a column. So inside the column, I'm going to do some grid layout. Like for extra small, I'm going to um, give it a layout of 6. For medium, a layout of 3. And for large, I'm gonna give it a layout of 2. And I'm going to bring this column right after the card. I'm going to save it. And now I'm going to go in the index CSS and going to add the background and the minimum height. Alright, so after this, if you look in the browser, um, our app looks already beautiful with all the CSS added, and our map function is working properly, but we need to focus more on the functionality. So the next step is to provide an interaction for the user to flip cards and evaluate if there is a match. So for this, we have to maintain the following states. So the open cards is an array, and it is to track the cards that has been flipped by the player. The matched cards is to track the cards that have been matched and needs to be removed from the deck. The moves to track the moves made by the player. And show model, which is going to show at the end all the game information. And also we are going to use timeout. So now I'm going to create another state, which is should disable all cards, and set should disable all cards, and another one more state for best score and set best score. And inside the use state, I'm going to add JSON parse local storage, and we are going to get item best score. So later when we will be creating a function for setting best score, we will be adding local storage and set item over there now, so that here we will be doing the get item here. Now I'm going to write two functions for should disable all cards, which is going to be const disable set. To disable all cards, we're going to make it to true, and I'm going to copy the same, and this is going to be enable, and this is going to be false for now. Then also I'm going to create um, check completion function. So here I'm going to use the if statement. If object dot keys equal to matched cards dot length equal to unique cards array dot length, then we are going to set our show model to true. Then we are going to work on the high score. High score is always going to be the minimum moves, and best score is always going to remain the same with the moves, which has the minimum moves in our local storage. So we're going to set best score to high score, and then we are going to use our local storage dot set item to best score. That's ultimately going to be the high score. All right. I see an error in the line here, which is giving this error information. So for this, I just need to remove the bracket here and save it. And now I'm going to create a evaluate function in which we are going to evaluate if both the cards have the same type, and if they do, we are going to mark inactive. So let's write const evaluate, and we are going to do the first card and the second card, and it is going to be open cards. Then we are going to enable it. Then we are going to write the if statement. If cards first dot type. If you remember, we have added this type in the data.js, and cards second dot type. Then we are going to set match cards, bring in um, the spread operator, and use the prev pass the previous value in there, and three dots the previous value, and cards first type true. Then we are going to set open cards to the initial value again, and we are going to return. All right, and also we are going to set the timeout function. Right after this, we are going to set the timeout dot current equals set timeout, and that is going to be set open cards in an array again, and then we are going to pass in here 5 seconds and save it. So now I'm going to write the click handle function. We're going to target the index. So if open cards dot length is equal to 1, then set open cards to, we're going to have the previous value here again, and in an array we are going to call target the prev as well as the index here, and then also increase our moves, set moves, increase it, pass moves here, and increase it to moves plus 1, and inactivate or disable then else clear timeout. That's going to be timeout dot current, and we are going to have set open cards in an index. All right. I see there's another red line here. So if we go here, let's see. Okay, there is something which is not working. Okay, I see here that we have forgotten this. It should work now. Right, and there's something. Okay, we forgot one dot. Save it. So now I'm going to add use effect here. And I'm going to describe a variable timeout to null. Then in an if statement, I'm going to have open cards dot length is 2. Then we want the timeout to be there by 3 seconds. So timeout is equal to set timeout by 3 seconds, and also evaluate, save it, and we are going to return inside here. We are going to do clear timeout, and it's going to be timeout here. And then we want to add in the array open cards. So we need to use the use effect one more time to bring in our check completion function. And then we are going to pass in here our matched cards. So now I'm going to write a function to check if the card is flipped. So const check is flipped. So inside here, I'm going to call return open cards dot includes. Then we have to pass an index here. So I'm gonna copy the same and pass in the index over here and save it. And also we have to check if the card is inactive. So I'm going to copy the same thing and paste in here. Card is inactive. This is going to take in card, then return. It's going to return a boolean and match cards. We are going to do card dot type. Alright, save it. So now I'm going to have here the restart functionality. Well, if you see here, we just reset our states and reshuffle our cards and save it. And now inside the header component, I'm going to pass moves as moves. Then I'm going to pass best score as best score. Then I'm going to also pass handle restart handle restart as handle restart. Now let's pass our functions inside the card component. So I'm going to pass is disabled is disabled as should disable all cards. Then is inactive as check is inactive, and then I'm going to pass in card here. Then I'm going to write another one is flipped as, let's do check is flipped, and we have to pass in index. Then one more and very important, on click as handle card click, and let's save it. So now let's go to header.js and pass in our props. I'm going to have the moves here. Then I'm going to place the score here. Then I'm going to add in the local storage also. So here, local storage dot get item, score. So I'm going to take this curly braces, wrap it here, and save it. And then we have to also add in our handle restart function. So we are going to do it on the button. So on click, we're going to do handle restart here. So now in the card.js, we are going to pass in our props. After that, we are going to create our handle click function. After the handle click function, we have to return. So in the return, we are going to have something like this and remove our card from here. So we are going to use class names over here and going to use both the props at the same time. And now let's save it and delete this div from here and add one more div here and save it. Alrighty, something doesn't work. Alright, now it's good. And now in the front page, I'm going to change it to card dot image, and our back peak remains the same. So now let's work on the finish component. So I'm going to use material UI for this, and let's start copying it. So as you can see, I'm using the open alert dialog. So I will start copying from the dialog and keep it inside the finish component. I would not need these two buttons, so only one button, and save it. And I'm going to customize on the contents. So this, I also have to delete this one and add these two over here to disable the backdrop click and disable escape key down. And after this, I would have a h2 tag with the title of the game. Maybe game written here. Then inside the dialog title, I'm going to add something like, hooray, you've completed the game. And this one I'm going to delete it, and we're going to have like the game information, like you got this many moves and your best score. Best score is, save it, and inside the button, instead of disagree, we are going to have restart the game, something like restart. And this is going to be our handle restart. Handle restart. And also we need to pass in props like handle restart. Then what else we had? Our show model, then best score, then our moves. Save it here, and in the open we are going to show model here. When it's open, we're going to show the model. Then in the moves, you got, let's write down, you got moves here. Moves, oh sorry, this has to go, cut it. Okay. Then your best score is, let's add in the best score here. Best score, and save it. And we did the handle restart. So now in the app, after the container, I'm going to bring in the finish component. Save it, and then I'm going to pass in the props over here that we have used, and save this. And now let's run our application in the browser. Okay, looks like 72, line number 72. Oh, okay, there's a mistake here. You need to put it under the break. And remove this and save it. And let's look at the browser now. All right, so we got our app here, and let's see if the functionality actually works. Okay, there you go. Okay, our functionality is working, and every time we click on two cards, the move is increasing. I also want to check on whether it's gonna show us the model or not. So for that, I'm going to comment out some of the pictures from the data.js. So let's go to data.js and let's comment out on this many pictures and save it. All right, refresh. All right, so now let's match it. All right, so we got this memory game. Hooray, we completed the game and our moves and all the information we got. And if we restart, we got this restart. All right, so now let's add our CSS in the finish component and save it. And let's check in the browser. All right, so we got our CSS as well. And restart, bring us to restart. So now I'm going to uncomment on the data.js. Save all the bits. All right, and let's go in the browser one more time. Refresh it. All right, so we are getting everything. So we have completed this app, guys. And please feel free to look on the source code and everything which I've shared in the description. And also please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.